just a regular hair dryer works too. And I keep both of these near the wheel head. So we're going to make a little, fix up this attachment here. Make sure it's nice and smooth. And you have to always think professional. I always think professional. If you're doing it as a hobby, that's great. Okay, I'm going to make some little holes here into the piece. I'm sort of welding it in. So I'm going through the handle into the piece so it won't pop off the pot. That's the problem I had with knobs. Knobs, they're great. They work real good, but they shrink a lot. And I used to have a major problem with knobs. I'd be putting the knob on the pot wet, and then I just take a couple of little balls here, and we're going to do the finished weld attachment here, so you can see it. It's nice little finishing touches here that are important. I know it's hard when you're first starting out to get to where you can do gestures, but the difference between real pros that do fine finish work and guys that just want to make 100 mugs a day to make some fat money is the finishing of the piece. Very, very important. So when I started, I knew I'd never be super fast, but I thought I could be super good. And I worked 27 years to get to this point, and that's just in Maggie Valley. And then before I got to Maggie, I actually took classes. Use a sponge just to clean up the little rough spots here, and it's easy to do right now. But anyway, what happened is, back to what I was talking about, was that I've been here 27 years perfecting my craft, and I knew I started late in life, so I knew that I would never be a real quick, fast 100 pots a day potter, nor did I really want to be that. And that's sort of why I pursued the Japanese line of pots, not so much American pots, where I would have had to make tons and tons of them. So now I've got my lid done, and what we got here is we're going to set this pot down right here. Got a nice lid on it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here and we're going to deal with this spout that I made the other day, and hopefully it's starting to soften up a little bit. And you know what I'm going to do real quick, because this music is overpowering to me. I'm going to come over here and turn it down. I guess it's making me crazy. Okay, so I've got the lid now made pretty much with the pull on it. I'm going to set this aside carefully right here. And then I'm going to set my pot up here. And what I'm going to come in over here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this spout, which I'm going to put on the pot like this way. So it's going to go on the pot sort of this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off so I'll be able to set this on to make the pot-bellied spout. So we're holding the pot here. We're coming in with our wire tool. Can you see where I'm at? Yes? We're going to shorten up on the wire tool and hold the back. And I'm going to start underneath the pot, and I'm going to seesaw it up. Start cutting this off now. I just lost it off the wheel head here. Okay, well, still going to cut it. If I can cut it. Wow, is this stuff hard inside? I might not be able to cut this one off. I told you it got hard. Here it goes. Okay, now I got the initial cut. Now I want to start coming straight up to my fingers here and cut this off. There's the angle for the pot, right there. Okay, you see it? We've got it cut now. See, where am I at? Right there. Okay, we're gonna now take this part away. We don't need it anymore. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna set this pot down right here. We're gonna dip this in water real good to get it sort of ready to go. And then we're going to just apply it to the pot, just roughly. So what I'm going to do is come over here and see that it's going to fit right there on the pot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a light outline around this piece right here. The piece that's going on there next. An outline. And the reason for that outline is we have to cut holes for the spout. And I'm going to try to keep this thing as wet as possible for as long as possible. And what we do is we're going to get, on this one we hand cut them with a little spade cutter. It's a stylus and a spade. You can get them in stationery stores usually. And now I'm going to start to put the holes in this spout area here. And I try to make a nice little tight pattern here. Just cutting them. I go down 4, I guess, 4. And we make sure the holes are fairly clean, because once we put this pot on the wheel, back on this pot, we're going to not be able to cut any more holes. So do this pretty quickly, it's not that big of a deal. And of course we're going to keep the spout going here. That looks like a good spout right there. That's half the strainer. Come in on the other side and cut the holes out for this next part of the strainer here. Okay, let's see. Okay, we've got our strainer cut now. Make sure all the holes are cleared so we don't have anything stuck in the holes. It just takes some time to do that. Clean that off nicely. And we're going to start to keep wetting this puppy. It's going to come to us here. All right, now I need to slip score the spot that we're going to attach this spout to. So I sort of just come around the perimeter here and I scratch in where the spout's going to go. We have that outline, rough outline right there. So I'm going to keep some water on the subject so it gets gooey enough to attach itself. A lot of these extra little lines, they'll all come out. You've got to spend some time doing it. Make sure you get it nice and gooey. Otherwise you're going to have the spout fall off, like the knobs used to fall off on my pots when they shrank and dried. And that's why I went to the curly Q handles. And I'll tell you the truth, it's something that really did well for me over the years, because I'm like the only guy around that's doing it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to spread out, pinch around here to get this a little thinner up here so we can make the attachment. And you can see that we're starting to smush this around, sort of just pinching it pretty hard to get it to conform to what we need. A little harder than I want, but it's still going to work because the outside edge is the pliable edge. A little more water on the subject. Let's get this thing going here. Okay, we got it nice and gooey. And now what we're going to do is add it onto the pot.